In 1990, a $100,000 salary was the ultimate finish line. It was the rich threshold. It bought you a 4-bedroom house in a good school district, 2 new cars in the driveway, a family vacation every summer, and enough left over to max out a 401k without ever looking at the price of milk. Fast forward to today, in 2026. If you just crossed the 6-figure mark, you probably felt a brief moment of pride, followed quickly by a confusing sense of panic. You looked at your bank account after paying rent, your car note, and the grocery bill, and you realized nothing has changed. You aren't rich. In many American cities, you're barely stable. The math doesn't lie. $100,000 in 2026 has the same functional purchasing power as about $44,000 did in the 1990s. This isn't just a feeling, it is a statistical reality. But why does it feel so much heavier than just simple inflation? Welcome to the Great Compression. Today, we're breaking down the hidden mechanics of why the middle class is being hollowed out from the inside, why $100,000 became the new baseline for survival, and the structural trap that keeps high earners feeling broke. To understand why your salary feels like a ghost, we have to look at the 3 things that used to define middle-class life. These aren't luxury items. They are the entry fees to a functional life. First, housing. In the 90s, the median home price was roughly 3 times the median household income. Today, in 2026, that ratio has exploded, with the national median home price hovering at all-time highs, and significantly higher in cities where $100,000 jobs actually exist. Housing now consumes 35 to 50% of a 6-figure take-home pay. You aren't buying a mansion. You're paying a premium just to have a commute that is under an hour. When half your income vanishes on the first of the month just for a roof, you aren't a 6-figure earner. You're a roommate with a nice title. Second, healthcare. This is the silent tax. In the last decade, healthcare costs have surged at double the rate of general inflation. Even with a good corporate job, your premiums, deductibles, and out-of-pocket maximums have quietly scaled up. You are effectively paying for a second car every month that you never get to drive, just to ensure that a single medical emergency doesn't bankrupt you. Third, the education debt cycle. Most people earning $100,000 today didn't get there by accident. They got there with degrees. But those degrees came with a price tag that follows you into your 30s and 40s. When you subtract a $700 monthly student loan payment from a $100,000 salary, you aren't a 6-figure earner anymore. You're a $90,000 earner paying for a past version of yourself, while trying to fund a future version that feels further away than ever. There is a specific phenomenon that hits the $100,000 earner harder than almost anyone else: the phase-out zone. When you earn $50,000, you are often eligible for various credits, subsidies, or lower-cost programs. But as soon as you hit that $100,000 mark, you enter a dead zone. You earn too much to receive any help, but you don't earn enough to benefit from the tax loopholes available to the truly wealthy. You are in the highest marginal pain bracket. Every raise you get is taxed at your highest rate, while your cost of living is rising at the real inflation rate, not the one the government reports. Then, there is structural inflation. Most financial gurus will tell you that you're broke because you buy too many lattes. They call it lifestyle inflation. But lifestyle inflation is a choice. You chose the nicer car. Structural inflation is a mandate. In 2026, the cost of functioning has gone up. Everything is a subscription now. You don't own your software, you rent it. You don't own your music, you rent it. Even basic car features or home security are now behind a monthly paywall. When your entire life is unbundled into monthly payments, your $100,000 salary is depleted by 1,000 tiny cuts before you even wake up on the first of the month. You are running a high-revenue business with extremely low margins. Here is the hardest truth to swallow. You cannot earn your way to wealth through labor alone anymore. In the mid-20th century, the social contract was simple. Work hard, get a raise, and that raise would put you ahead of the cost of living. But that contract has been torn up. We now live in an asset-prime economy. This means the value of things you own, stocks, real estate, businesses, grows significantly faster than the value of the time you sell. If you are relying on your $100,000 paycheck to save up for an asset, you are racing against an escalator that is moving faster than you can run. This is the asset gap. Someone who bought a home in 2012 and earned $60,000 a year is often financially wealthier in terms of net worth and monthly cash flow than a 2026 graduate earning $120,000 who is renting. One person is supported by the system, capital. The other is being harvested by the system, labor. If your income stops when you stop working, you don't own a system. You are the fuel for someone else's system. The $100,000 salary is just enough fuel to keep the machine running, but not enough for you to build your own engine. There is a hidden cost to this math that no one talks about: the mental load. When you earn $100,000, society and your own brain expects you to be fine. You feel a sense of shame when you have to check your bank account before going out to dinner. You feel like a failure because you're earning a dream salary, but still living paycheck to paycheck. This leads to performative stability. You spend money to look like you're earning what $100,000 used to represent, which only deepens the trap. We are seeing a generation of hiring poor, people with high-status jobs, high-stress lives, and zero margin for error. One layoff, one illness, or one major car repair, and the entire six-figure house of cards collapses. This constant low-level anxiety is the hallmark of the new middle class. If $100,000 is the new $40,000, what is the play? How do you win a game where the rules are rigged against the earner? First, you have to stop measuring your success by your gross income and start measuring it by your capturable capital. Your goal is not to get a 10% raise. Your goal is to move as much money as possible from the labor column to the asset column. Second, you must resist the middle class script. The script says you should buy the house you can barely afford and the car that fits your job title. In 2026, that script is a suicide pact. To get ahead, you have to live like you earn $50,000 while making $100,000. It's uncomfortable, it's frustrating, and your peers might judge you, but it's the only way to buy your way out of the trap. Third, you need to build equity, not just income. Whether that is a side business, a disciplined stock portfolio, or a small piece of real estate, if you don't own something that grows while you sleep, you will be working until the day you die, regardless of how many zeros are on your paycheck. You have to turn your high-income labor into permanent capital. The dream of the six-figure salary died somewhere between 2020 and 2026. It's time we stop pretending it's a milestone of wealth. It is a milestone of survival. If you feel like you're doing everything right and still falling behind, it's not because you're failing. It's because the map you were given is 30 years out of date. The math has changed. The system has shifted. We are living in an era where the median is no longer enough to provide a normal life. But once you see the invisible architecture of the new poverty line, you can start making moves to climb above it. Knowledge of the system is the first step toward escaping it. If you want to understand the deeper mechanics of how capital actually works, and how to stop being the system and start owning it, make sure to subscribe to Capital Explained. We're breaking down the structure of wealth, one video at a time. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.